Islam Sheikh, do you see it on your end?
Islam General already shared it.
Okay, praise Allah. Like I said, to everyone that's present and as they coming in, and you greet, and I may not respond, please have patience with me and tolerance, and forgive me, but not if I don't respond back, because a lot of times I'm setting this live up on both YouTube and Facebook, and at times my attention is engaged in trying to get this thing running up and running correctly. And so I just want everyone to be, just to remind, let everybody know what's going on this end.
Islam.
Sometimes you gotta do it over and over a couple of times before it actually, how technology it kicks in the way it's supposed to. Islam, gratitude. Sometimes it can be the internet. It can be, one dot or line out of place. You just got to make sure. Islam, gratitude.
Islam, oh man. Islam, we're going to go ahead and get started. Islam, Islam, Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet. Drew Ali, amen. Islam. Rising to praise Allah and giving honor to our holy prophet, noble Drew Ali, salvation, our God, unity, the divine constitution of Moorish America. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life according. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwest, western, and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. Islam.
Islam. I am Nicole Williams El-Bey of the Maryland Consulate. I rise giving praise to the universe, high honors to my ancestors, high honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honors to all the Moors here, there, and everywhere. Meditation, we should be relaxed, remove our shoes if possible. Take 3 deep breaths. On the inhale, we will have the baby Buddha belly. And exhale 3 times.
Go ahead and start, Goddess.
Islam. Could you turn it up a little more? It still sounds a little low.
Can you still hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
No, it just stopped.
It just stopped. Let me close it out. Sharing the sun. It won't go. See if you can freestyle.
Yeah. Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. First, I want to rise. Islam. Can everybody hear me?
Islam.
Islam, Islam. First, I want to rise and praise Almighty God Allah. I want to give honor to our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honor to the theocratic government and indigenous nation of Moorish America. I want to give honor to the divine constitution of Moorish America. I want to give honor to Act 1 of said constitution. I want to give honor to all officials in Moorish America. I want to give honor to all citizens in Moorish America. And I want to give a special honor to our children, our babies in Moorish America. I want to give honor to all of the Moors who opened our meeting according to law. Definitely want to give honor to that beautiful sound bowl demonstration. Just Moors, we always got to be ready. And gratitude to the goddess for being ready to demonstrate that when the technology failed. Want to give honor to today's class. And before we get started, I just want to say that I am Sheikh El-Bey, Vice Consul General of the Maryland Consulate, Moorish American Government. And like I said, Moors, before we get started, I want to call on our Consul General, Dr. Malik El-Bey, to see if he has any words of wisdom for us. You there, Grand Man?
Islam, 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 Islam. Gratitude. I'm Dr. Malik El-Bey, Consul General of the Maryland Consulate, and I'm always rising to give praise to our Father God, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and giving honor to our illustrious prophet. I love thought, the prophet who brought us everything that it takes in order to save ourselves as a nation of people. I want to give honor to our theocratic government, which is the only true government that works for everybody in the world. There's no specific name or anything of that nature that can totally describe this form of government. All we know is it is divine. And the proof of it is we exist. And it's available to us all the time. I want to give honor to all representatives of this theocratic government. I want to give honor to our children, especially our children, for they are our future leaders. They are our present leaders also, because we learn and we teach. We learn from them just as well as they learn from us. I want to give honor where honor is due, give honor to, like you said, Vice Consul General, to everyone who opened up the meeting according to law, because law governs all events, and giving honor to our minister, Nicole Williams El-Bey, for, like you said, being ready to come forth and demonstrate even when technology has come up short. And that's a lot, and we gotta keep that in mind, because a lot of times, technology will come up short. But we should always be hooked up and always ready. But what will determine us in being ready, that controls everything, is our attitude. So I give honor to everybody who showed up, because you could have been anywhere that you chose to be or wanted to be on this Saturday morning, but you're here. You're here striving to assist our children and anybody who is under the sound of our voice, and being better and becoming better people, or better citizens, or better, of humanity, being better examples of themselves. So I give gratitude for that. It takes a special individual to want to spend that type of time and give love and don't demand love in return. So I want to just say gratitude. Islam.
Islam, General, and honors to you and gratitude for those words of wisdom to get us started. And more's on our panel, and also more's our family watching us on Facebook. Please share this class on your Facebook pages. You can go on to the Maryland Consulate Facebook page, or Dr. Malik El-Bey's Facebook page, and see it. And please share it onto your page so that we can get this message out. So please take this time now to share it on your Facebook pages. So Islam, Moore's gratitude and honors for everybody showing today. We are on week 18 of our Young Goddesses and Gods Education and Truth Saturday Zoom Academy, week 18. We are well past the halfway mark, and just want to give honors for everybody who is sticking and staying. Today's title, why is nationality important? Today's title, once again, why is nationality important? The objective, to understand why the application of nationality is the key to our salvation in this new era of time. Now, any Moors that have the curriculum for this Saturday Academy see that I changed that objective a little bit. It used to read, to understand why nationality is the key to our salvation in this new era of time. And this morning I added these words to it, to understand why the application of nationality is the key to our salvation in this new era of time. See, because these lessons that our prophet brought to us, we have to make them applicable. And we have to show our children how to make them applicable so that their conditions can be better than what ours were. So that's why that was added, the application of nationality. We have 3 words to define: land, history, and culture. The resources that will be coming from our divine constitution of Moorish America, Act 6, will also be coming out of our Holy Quran of Moorish America, Circle 7, chronological order, chapter 69, Egypt, the capital empire, dominion of Africa, and that's on pages 62 and 63. We'll also be coming out of chapter 70, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. That's on page 63 and 64. We'll also look at a chapter out of our Harbinger's book, The Message to the People, Marcus Garvey, lesson 3, Negro nationalism. And I want to say this about our Harbinger. Our Harbinger did not have all the information that our prophet came with. Our Harbinger said he was paving the way for our prophet to come. And my prophet was going to have that supreme lesson for us about who we were. So a lot of times when we read and see things from our Harbinger, you might see where the Harbinger says Negro or some things like that. Well, he's talking about us as Moors. And that's the information that he had at the time, but he still did a great work of trying to unite us as a nation of people and get us to think about nation until the prophet came and told us who we actually were. So I give honors to our Harbinger, Marcus Mosiah Garvey for the great work that he did. And we will be looking at a chapter out of his book today. We'll also be seeing a short YouTube video that we do not own the rights to. It's for educational purposes. And the video is entitled John Henry Clark on the Importance of Nationality. John Henry Clark is one of our great historians and scholars, passed form many years ago, but demonstrated a lot of great work. So we're going to look at that video. Our discussion question when the floor is open: what does nationality mean to you? Once again, the discussion question: what does nationality mean to you? And then our younger children could draw a picture of Moorish Americans living peacefully together. So Moors, with no further delay, we're going to get into our vocabulary words. And our first word is land. Any Moors with definition for the word land? Land. Islam. We got Goddess Williams El-Bey and Brother Yisrael.
Brother Israel can go first. Islam.
It's gratitude, Goddess. Come on, Brother Yisrael.
Islam and gratitude. Surface in earth.
That is okay.
Surface
that is not covered by water.
Not covered by water.
Islam, Mo. You coming right out the great gate with them jewels. Gratitude for that, Mo. Okay, Goddess Williams El-Bey.
Islam, praise and honors reiterated. A country, and then it has the valley is one of the most beautiful in the land. And the part of the earth's surface that is not covered by water, as opposed to the sea or the air. Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for that grand definition. Both definitions were grand, and I'm just going to add to those. For land, I have a definite portion of the earth's surface that is the home of a people or nation. So when we think about our mother is earth. And you know, that land that is our ancestral land, that's our mother. That's our connection to this planet, you know, and a people who don't know where they came from on this planet are people that is lost. They are cut off from their mother. See, because from your mother, from your land, comes a lot of your ways, a lot of how you relate to each other because of the land. You know, so when a people are cut off from their land, thinking that they could be from Africa, or could be from here, but don't really know, that's why people kind of just blow out in the wind, because they don't know, they don't have that connection to mother anymore, Mother Earth. So just gratitude for all of those grand definitions. And we're going to move on to the next word, history. Our next word is history. Islam, Brother Israel.
The study of past events,
and past events,
particularly in human affairs. In human affairs.
and human affairs.
Islam. Oh, gratitude. Gratitude for that definition. Islam. That was a beautiful definition. Islam. For history, I have just camelbacking off of that mighty Israel. I have a relation of incidents, true or false, narrative of past events, account, tale, story, a learning or knowing by inquiry, an account of one's inquiries, knowledge, account, record, narrative, be witnessed or expert, give testimony, recount, find out, search, inquiry. Once again, so from that, from those two definitions, we understand that history has to be recorded and told, but we also have to be careful of whose accounts of history that we look at, that we accept as being true, because in the beginning of that definition that I gave, it said relation of incidents, true or false. See, because we have been indoctrinated with a lot of false history about who we were and about who this so-called European is and was. You know, so when we're dealing with history, we have to be careful of whose side of the story we look at. See, because I heard this many years ago, and it's kind of funny, but it's actual truth. You know, when you're dealing with what they call big game hunters, you know, they go to the continent of Africa and hunt lions and go different areas and hunt tigers. They have one side of the story about how great it was and how valiant they were and all of that. But if you ask the lion or the tiger his side of the story, he would have a different side of the story. He would say a bunch of people came and they were crazy, you know, and they just started shooting. I don't know where they came from. I don't know what they wanted, you know, but I was running for my life, you know. So you see those two different sides of that event. You know, one saying, oh, everything was great and good. The other side would say, what in the world is going on here? Everything was fine. I was at the water hole with my cubs, and all of a sudden, these two-legged animals started running at me with these things, and fire was coming out of them. You know, so dealing with history, we need to have a knowledge of true history, you know, and our prophet brought that to us with many keys that we could open up our true history. So gratitude, Moors, for those grand definitions for the word history. And our final word is culture. Culture. Islam, Brother Israel.
Say all the ways
All the ways
of life,
of life,
including art,
including art,
beliefs,
beliefs,
and institutions
and institutions,
of a population
and population,
that are passed down
and passed down
from generation
from this generation
to generation.
to this generation.
Islam, Islam, gratitude, gratitude. I just want to, camelback off you, Brother Israel, and say similar to what you have. It says the figurative sense of cultivation through education, systematic improvement and refinement of the mind, learning, and taste, the intellectual side of civilization, collective customs and achievements of a people. So just with those two grand definitions, especially Brother Israel's, we understand that culture is something that we achieve together, by our thinking and demonstrating that things can be better. Things like the food that we eat, the music that we sing, the instruments that we use, the writings of poetry, all the things that go into a people's identity, a people's national identity is really their culture. So grand definitions, and I see our Council General's hand up. You there, Grand Man?
Yes, Islam, I just want to add to the beautiful demonstrations from that was already put out to the ethers. Culture is essential social and intellectual formation, order, structure, and creativity manifest as the totality of socially transmitted behavior, patterns, working, and doings, including arts, beliefs, gnosis, disciplines, institutions, and all other products of human work and thought, characteristic of a community or population. Culture also manifests as a style of social and artistic expression, such as in literature, languages, philosophy, cartography, history, etc. That is particular to a particular society or class. Suppression is designed to kill culture among the natural peoples or social group targeted by the aggressors, colonists, occupiers, or conquerors, etc. The social condition being the opposite of high culture is that of dead culture. And this month, not speaking radical, this is so-called Black History Month. This Black History Month is a representational example of a dead culture. If you really examine it, you will see it may take you as far as what the oppressors or the aggressors or the colonists allows you to be recognized as. So that's just an example of what we see today as being represented in this 28, 29 days. Islam gratitude.
Islam, and gratitude, General, for that grand measure. Explaining thoroughly what culture is, and then you came right into this so-called set called Black History Month. And I just want to pull up something. I posted this on Facebook about this month. because our people are they get very serious about this month, but they don't even realize, how they are being played with this month. So I put this up on Facebook, and it's funny, but it's also very serious. It says, "Let this marinate." So-called African Americans that refer to themselves as Black are celebrating the history of Negroes and colored folks this month. Once again, let this marinate. So-called African Americans that refer to themselves as Black are celebrating the history of Negroes and colored folks this month. Now, to read it, it sounds pretty funny, but it's actually the biggest part of our problem as a people that we're dealing with, and we've been dealing with since 1865, and that is who we are. Our title for today's class is "Why is Nationality Important?" And see, when we deal with nationality, if somebody tells you that they are Chinese, instantaneously in your mind, when they say that they are Chinese, you think of land, history, and culture. And if a people call themselves a name, or somebody else calls them a name that doesn't immediately link them to land, history, and culture, that's a dead people. What is the land, history, and culture of the so-called Black man? What is the land, history, and culture of the so-called Negro? What is the land, history, and culture of the so-called colored man? Now, see, they got slick with this last name they gave us. What is the land, history, and culture of this so-called African American man? So they gave us some names of continents, but you still have no connection to any land, history, or culture. All of them are slave titles that only give you a history at the close of the Civil War. So during this so-called Black History Month, they'll put out things like this brother invented the potato chip, and this brother invented the gas mask. But what they don't tell you is your people actually invented history. So this so-called History Month, if it wasn't for our people thinking, let me record what we're doing so that when generations die and new generations are born, they'll have a record of what happened, what we did, how we did it. Our people actually invented history, so it's a slap in the face when they tell us that we invented the potato chip, which we did. We did. The gas mask, which we did. The hot comb, Madam C.J. Walker, the hot comb, yeah, we did. But guess what? They found all kind of combs in goddesses' tombs in Kemet and in the Americas. There was thousands of years old, 8,000, 10,000 years old, 50,000 years old. So let's as a people understand the dead cat on the line when they throw you a bone like Black History Month, or throw you another bone like a holiday called Juneteenth. All these things that don't really matter, General, you have a portion on that?
Yes, and it's also, we got to at least plant in our mind or keep in mind that it is, designed to perpetuate mental slavery, because it is linked to the granted privileges that our people were given, and is linked to the birthright theft of the land. You know, our people not only wrote history, they are history. You know, we are the mothers and the fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. That's not something we bragging about. It is. The woman, our Asiatic woman, every woman on the face of the universe came from her womb. This woman can produce every nationality from her womb, and nobody else can do that. It's scientifically been proven. And so it's deeper than the surface stuff that our people just are satisfied with or accept. So gratitude.
Islam, General, and gratitude for that grand measure, driving that truth home. The Asiatic woman is science calls her the mitochondrial Eve, you know, because all creation came from her, you know. So gratitude for that measure, General. And we are at our little over for our first break, so it's now 9:48. We're gonna return at 10 o'clock sharp to get into our readings for this chapter, and gratitude for those definitions, and also Moore's just while we're in class today, thinking about the title, also think about these three words: land, history, and culture. So we're gonna take our first break until 10 o'clock, and we'll resume class then, Moore's. Islam. We'll be returning back to class in 1 minute. Islam, Islam, Islam. We'll be returning back to class, Moors, always praising Allah and giving honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Moors, we're going to jump right into our readings for today. And as we're going over these readings, let's think about the title of today's class, Why is Nationality Important? Let's think about the objective to understand why the application of nationality is the key to our salvation in this new era of time. You know, let's think about those 3 vocabulary words: land, history, and culture. And also let's think about this month, this so-called month that we dealing with, this so-called Black History Month, as we're reading these chapters from our prophet, from our harbinger, you know, as we move forward. So we're going to get into our first reading. Bear with me, Moors. So our first resource that we'll be coming from is our Divine Constitution of Moorish America. We're going to be dealing with, once again, and we dealt with this last week, Moors, Act 6. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality. See, proclaim is an action word. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So just want to give honor to our holy prophet for our divine constitution of Moorish America, and also give him high honors for this act that we're looking at here today, because this Act 6 says it all, Moors. You know, the prophet lets us know where we came from, what we ended up into, and what we have to do to get out of it. You know, because the prophet is telling us that this Negro thing lasted from 1779 until 1865. Something was supposed to happen then. We were supposed to throw off those shackles of Negro, Black, colored. See, because they have no standing in law. We are not recognized, our people are not recognized by this government or any other government in the world. You know, we always hear about, in the news, we hear about the United Nations coming out against this particular country because of human rights violations. They coming out against this Asian country, this African country, this South American country. All you hear that in the news all the time, but you never hear the United Nations or any other international organization coming out against the United States government for their human rights violations against the indigenous Moors in America, our people. You never hear that. See, because internationally, our people aren't recognized as people. You know, they internationally, because we haven't stood up to be the Moors that we are, the men and women, the upright and fearless, independent Moors that the prophet told us that we were, and also innately that we are. These other nations, these other governments don't see us as a people. And also they see us as property of the United States, and they're not getting involved in that issue. Once again, we see on the news that Amnesty International and the UN and Democracy Now, all these different organizations that speak out against crimes against humanity, you never hear them talking about the so-called Negro in America. You know, because the so-called Negro in America is property. And if somebody owns a car, you can't tell them what to do with their car. Somebody really, you know, somebody owns a house, you know, to a huge degree, you can't tell them what to do with that house. If somebody owns a German Shepherd, really, they can do what they want, even though a German Shepherd has a nationality and seemingly has more rights than a Negro. You better not be seen, you know, you better not let these folks see you abusing a dog. They'll do more to you for that than, you know, abusing your own folks. You know, so just want to give honor to our prophet for that act in our divine constitution, because it says it all. It gives us all that we need about our past, our present, and our future. You know, prophet said in there, 1865, after that, that's a new era of time. You know, things need to change. They should have changed. You know, so we're going to go right into our first reading. And that is chapter 69. Chapter 69, Egypt, the capital empire, the dominion of Africa. Once again, let's think about our title, our objective, our words to define. Let's think about Act 6 of our divine constitution of Moorish America. Chapter 69, Egypt, the capital empire, the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa, who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his father Ham and his family was second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Africa, the first true and divine name of Africa. It's spun a lot more. Let me read that again. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the Father and the Son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Land joined them. The Moabites from the land of Canaan, from the Moabites, listen up, Moors, this is us. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit Northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast to southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade. And it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. Here's the hit right here. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there are no Negro, Black folk, or colored race, Islam, no Negro, Black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before the great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, Black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing of. So Moors, in this chapter from our holy prophet, you know, he's telling us, he's putting the onus on us right here. You know, we can't be victims. Our prophet is saying at the end of ayah 14 that he was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways. See, the prophet didn't say he came to warn the USA. He said he came to warn us, you know, because we were straying after gods and accepting inferior classifications that we knew nothing of. They weren't us, you know. And it goes on in ayah 17 to say that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, you know, because we didn't honor the principles of our mothers and fathers. And once again, we strayed after those gods of Europe. What were the gods of Europe? When we first think about the gods of Europe, we think about Christianity, think about Jesus, that kind of thing. But truly, When it says we strayed after the gods of Europe, but greed, war, treachery. See, these are the gods of Europe, and this is what we strayed after. We thought that what they had was better than what we had. So we said, let's go ahead and try to amalgamate into it. And we see what happened after that amalgamation. So if there's no questions or elaborations, we'll go on to our next reading. Islam, we got our Deputy Counsel General Terrell Freeman L. Come on, Moman.
Islam. I'm Terrell Freeman L., Deputy Counsel General of the Maryland Consulate, rising to give him praise to the great God of law, Father of the universe, highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, noble throughout the El-Bey Sharif of the law. I want to give high honors to our Moorish American government, our Moorish American theocratic government. I want to give high honors to everything that is on this grand day, this grand class. Oh, man. I want to give high honors to all of my kids, just like young God man Aiden, for all of the contributions in this class. This has just been wonderful to participate in. Why? Because being a mastermind involves being able to trace your origin. And we've been talking so much about these resources that our prophet has left us, the way the prophet walked, and moreover, words that we have the opportunity to define and renew in our mind. And it's very special because one is mentioned Black History Month. Oh boy. It's beneath the honor, the just due honor of our ancestors. Their words, works, and deeds. If we are the descendants of the mothers and fathers of civilization, and these are things that our divine constitution of Moorish America cover in just Act 6. But from Act 6, we can go to Chapter 69. We can go to so many of the resources that we have and better understand why we must know our own story, because the glory goes well beyond Black and anything attached to that story, the culture attached to African American, the ways, cultures, and story attached to Negro, anything attached to any of the brands that we've gotten hasn't led us to the prophet and hasn't led us to a clear-cut understanding of who we are, not just to every landmass, because that's special too. We're indigenous to the planet, as our Counsel General often reminds us. But our special story, from the beginning to what happened when, is that when we come back to Act 6, there was once upon a time when we strayed after things outside of ourselves. God's quote unquote could be, a tradition, somebody else's culture, somebody else's ways. These things caught up with us, practiced them too long. The great God of law, brings us a prophet to clarify our understanding by demonstration. But the demonstration wasn't his words, his deeds, all types of things that divinely and nationally we kind of forgot. Maybe lost the nerve, forgot who we were. And so in this day and time, everything, not just 27 days out of the month, not just because we never had a story and up from slavery. It is natural practicing love instead of hate. Ooh, wait. I have to start first because these simple terms, they go so much deeper when I identify the spirit in me and I follow the ways, works, and deeds of the prophet. And my brothers and sisters, like young God man Aiden, oh man, I feel the divinity. And it's not so strange to see these things that are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's the great God above. That's what we need. That's what it's all about. So, I just want to give high honors to you for reviewing the chapters and words in the context necessary for us to better appreciate who we are and what we're called to do in this era. And gratitude for allowing me to share. I've been so excited listening to this goodness. I'm going to go back to muting the microphone and taking my seat in class. Islam and gratitude.
Islam and gratitude for that grand measure, deputy. And just as a correction, you talking about Brother Israel. Brother Israel, Islam. Grand measure though. Definitely grand measure. Council General Malik El-Bey, you got your hand up?
Yes, Islam. I just wanted to mention that, one of the most challenging things that we as conscious Moorish Americans and national have to face is when we have to face this oppression of inclusively trying to tie people to a doctrine or a certain type of religion, when we are actually trying to teach those things necessary that our people need to know, that all other nations know. It comes across a being like that. When we talk about nationality, our people interpret that as that's that Muslim stuff. And everybody in the face of the universe has a nationality except us. And they never look at it from that perspective, which is it's something that's major that every person or citizen of the human family needs. You understand? So it what's the word? Proselytize? Yeah, proselytize being convert.
Proselytize, yeah.
Proselytize, convert. So when they hear us talking or speaking, they think we're trying to convert them, when we're actually trying to reveal something that always been and always will be. And because of these two things, divine creed and nationality, is so key when it comes to humanity. These two things actually brings us back into the constitutional fold of government. Our people are not accustomed to operating in the constitutional fold of government. So that's why all of this, what we are saying, sounds like we're trying to convert them, because they've been conditioned, their mind been conditioned by man-made religion, basically, or a concept that was designed to take one outside of his true and divine constitution way of living, if that makes sense. So that's one of the challenges that we face as being conscious Moorish Americans, because you would think that this whole panel will be lit up. You would think that, people be tearing down the walls to get to the information and knowledge that we're speaking about. But that's not the case, because it's haven't been accepted as being important to them, and how and important to them, and how one can navigate throughout the planet Earth. These are two necessities that one needs in order to navigate properly on this mundane plane. I wanted to bring that to our attention, because more science is the key. More science just happen to be what we call it, but we are dealing with the natural laws of nature. The natural laws of nature. This was extremely difficult because I'm reading from a record that I have. Much of the Moorish Americans' public doctrines deal with the problems of Americans' racial traditions and history. See, you said something earlier that the wars and the crimes of humanity is tied to the process of denationalization or the crime that was committed against us. When you look at it on a deeper level, all of those things that happened in humanity had already happened to us, but it's been minimized. It's been minimized when it comes down to us. But things has happened to us for hundreds of years and has played a major part in the conditioning of our minds, our present state, and our acceptance of what they still demonstrate. You know, so this is so powerful and major. Like, and they speak about everybody else, like you said, with the dogs. All dogs have nationality, but mistreat a dog and see what happens. But you could kill a so-called black man in the street on a day-to-day basis and nothing will be actually said about it. You know what I mean? So I'm just using those things as an example to hope that our people can see the seriousness of this state of mind or this state that we are in as a people, and how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was sent to us, an angel of Allah, nothing spooky, or if we want to just call him a messenger, although we know he was more than a messenger. He brought us everything that it takes in order to save us as a nation of people. So all the philosophies and religions and stuff that we teach, we talk about the laws of the 7 Hermetic principles. We talk about the signs of mind. We talk about Hinduism. We talk about Buddhism. We talk about the philosophies, even what they use in Christianity, but at an adept level. All of this come out of Moorish science. All of this come out of Moorish science. So those 4 sacred schools, those 4 sacred schools that we wear around on our emblem, them quadrants, they represent something more greater than what people be actually looking at, the perspective that they be looking at it from. You know, these things are essential. And, you know, I just wanted to put that out there to stimulate some thought, And because that's why we have to give our children this back so they can function in society as themselves and what Allah, what the Creator made them to be. Islam?
Islam, that was a grand message, General. You hit on so many key points. You know, I'm just gonna camelback off of you. The Prophet said for a reason that he's bringing us the old time religion. You know, if he's bringing us the old time religion, that must mean that there's something about these new day religions that is just not right for us. Now, you also talked about how nationality has nothing to do with religion, and our people get tripped up with that. You know, and like you say, they say that's that Muslim thing. But let's look at the nation of Malaysia. The nation of Malaysia. When you look at that, so the people who live in Malaysia are Malaysians. That's their nationality. But let's look at the religious breakdown of Malaysia. Now, all of them are Malaysian by nationality, but let's look at their religion. 61% is Islam. Close to 20% is Buddhist. Close to 10% Christianity. Close to 7% Hinduism. Right around 4% Chinese folk religion. So look at all those different religions up underneath of one nationality. So why is it a problem for our people? Our people are Muslim, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, all those, right? Because we created all of them. Why is it such a problem for us to come under our one free national name so that we can be recognized by the nations of the earth? That is the million-dollar question. You know, and that is why the Moorish American government teaches. See, because we are one nation made up of many different tribes, and tribes have different ideologies. Tribes have different ways of worshiping the same universal creator. But all those tribes come together and should come together to make a one nation under one free national name. So we got to stop thinking that nationality has anything to do with your religion, because every recognized nation on this earth, when you go and look at the demographics of their religion, the breakdown of their religions in that nation, there's always different religions. So why are we hung up? Why do we cause confusion when there's no confusion? And see, we only causing confusion. The confusion really ain't on us. The confusion is being put on Brother Israel, brother Aiden and Sister Zoe, my granddaughters, the Council General's granddaughters. I'm sure, I think Goddess Nicole Williams El-Bey got grandchildren or grandchild. That the confusion is being put on them with this religious controversy. There is no controversy. Your religion, the way that you worship Allah is your business. But this nation ain't your business, it's our business. And this is the mindset that we have to have in order to save ourselves, which will save our next generations, Israel and his children and his children's children. This is why we working. This is why we doing what we doing. For those, the prophet said it. He said he come for the child standing next to the mother. He also came for the child in the mother's arms, and he also came for that child in the mother's womb. So the general has his hand up. Come on, General.
Yeah, it's long working, Doctor. I just wanted to add to from all of this reading I have. It says, for those reasons, or what you just now spoke about, we introduced some of those Moorish American teachings and the theories in our historical survey. And as they may be applied in each particular chapter, allowing the whole work, don't miss this, the whole work to be fused into our thesis. However, there are a number of underlying ideologies, sacred teachings, and abstract concepts that simplifies the whole system of Moorish science, though they are not readily apparent, but become perceivable in concert with the cognitive growth of the individual. So based on how we deal with Brother Yezreel and helping him develop his cognitive ability, his growth and development will determine majorly how he perceives life in general. Instead of getting caught up into names and titles and things of that nature, he will catch on to the whole science way of life. Because all of these philosophies and ancient sacred teachings is designed for that very reason. But we get prejudiced, our minds are prejudiced as a result of conquer and divide. You see? So this is one reason why we wear the fez. And our tassels are not bound. They should not be anyway. If you're wearing one, your tassel or your turban should wrap, showing, expressing 360 degree. It should not, when somebody look at your turban, you should not be able to see the beginning nor the end. It should represent infinity, infinite, wisdom, light, love, and law. And that's what I made that page up for on that new web social media called Clubhouse, because the objective and goal is to communicate and build with the whole human family. Now, it's going to be a challenge because you're going to come, some going to come with what they think their philosophy is it. But when you have a universal understanding that all life is bound in one and how everything is connected by the divine cord, you can set with anybody and know that over in China, France, Germany, that 2 + 2 is 4, 7 × 3 is 21. Mathematically, you can communicate. That's where we're trying to get to. But you got to purify your mind with love, though. You can't do it because if you got hatred, if you got any form of hatred, governing your mind, then you're going to look at people differences more so than their similarities. And you're going to look for those differences. And you're going to try to pick them out. And the moment you go to pick them out, that's where your problems start. Islam, gratitude.
Islam, beautiful measure, General. Grand measure. Just thinking about what you just demonstrated. The Moorish American, in order to be a Moorish American, we have to be a true Christian. We have to be crystallized in the teachings of the Christ. And what is the Christ? The Christ is the Son, the love of Allah made manifest. We gotta be a true Muslim. Submit our will to the will of the Creator. What's the will of the Creator? That we be gods on earth. That's a Muslim. We got to be true Buddhists. We truly have to understand how we are supposed to treat our fellow man in a certain friendly and respectful way. That's all the Buddha came to show us. We got to be a true Confucianist, because we need to manifest right and orderly government and society in this world. See, we all of them. That's why the prophet said he brought us the old time religion, because all the old time religion encompassed all of those. The true teachings of those, not the stuff that got added later. The little frills and added stuff later, but the true essences of those modern day religions, that's the old time religion. And what is the old time religion? And the general said it. It's just natural law. Natural law. So gratitude, General, for that grand measure. We're gonna go in to our next chapter, chapter 70. And as I'm reading this, Morris, think about all that we've been demonstrating today in today's class, and let's look at our harbinger also in this chapter. Chapter 70, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Yehoshua in those days to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Yehoshua. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation must and shall worship under their own vine and fig tree and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc., that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa, there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared for their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earth land, which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights. Because you are not Negroes, learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come link yourselves with the families of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. So from there, Moors, before our break, we're going to go on to this chapter from our Harbinger. And after this, we'll have our second break. But this is out of our Harbinger's book. One of them, Message to the People, Negro Nationalism. Now understand that the Harbinger came before the prophet, and he told us to come together because the true message was going to come. So our Harbinger, he used the knowledge that he had to bring us together. But understand, where he says Negro, we really talking about Moors. So it says the culmination of all the efforts of the UNIA. Now that's the organization that our Harbinger started, the United Negro Improvement Association, must end in Negro independence. And I'm gonna add the word more, in Moorish independence, nationalism on the continent of Africa, because our Harbinger was talking about Africa, but he wasn't solely talking about everybody going back to Africa, but going back to that old time way in our mind. That is to say, everything must contribute towards the final objective of having a powerful nation for the Moors. Moorish nationalism is necessary. It is political power and control. No race is free until it has a strong nation of its own system of government, and its own order of society. Never give up this idea. Let no one persuade you against it. It is the only protection of your generation and your race. Hold on to the idea of an independent government and nation so long as other men have them. Never be satisfied to always live under the government of other people, because you shall ever be at their mercy. Visualize for yourself and your children and generations unborn of the race of your own king, your own emperor, your own president, your own government officials, and administrations who look like you. Allah never could have intended to make you as you look and as you are, and to make your king, president, emperor, or ruler different to you in race. This must not be a license for you to disobey the laws of kings of other races or rulers of other races while you live under their control, but you must always seek and work for a government of your own, absolutely, where you and your children will have a chance, like anybody else in the state, to rise from the lowest to the highest position, which you may not attain under other governments. But while you will have under alien governments to get the best out of them as your citizenship rights, but always have in view doing something to make it possible that your race can have a nation and a government of its own. Speak of this, dream of this, work unceasingly for this, and never forget this. For this is the great task of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and also the Moorish American government. Never confuse your ideas about Moorish nationality with that of other peoples, as to think that their nationality is good enough for you. Never think that if Japan gains control of the world, they will treat you better than Anglo-Saxons, Europeans, or the Latins. Don't think that if the Chinese get control of the world, your position will be better, nor the Indians. All other races and nations will use you just the same as slaves, as underdogs. Your only protection, therefore, is to have your own. Don't encourage Moors to join Japanese movements, Chinese movements, Indian movements, or any other movements with the hope of getting greater freedom. They will never get it, because all peoples want all things for themselves. Explain this thoroughly and sufficiently so as to discourage ignorant Moors thinking otherwise. You should teach Moors to have pride in their own nationality and not try to wear garments that typify membership in other nationalities. It is ridiculous, and people laugh at them for so doing. Teach Moors to look for honor in their own race and from their own nation, and to serve their own race and nation to get such honors. Any honors they get from any other race for serving that race, they can get from their own for serving their own race. Don't waste time, therefore, in that. You can have your own king, your own emperor, your own pope, your own dukes, your own everything. Therefore, don't bow down to other races for recognition. And that is from our Harbinger, grand demonstration from our Harbinger. And Moors, we're going to take our second break. And when we come back, we got the short video and Brother Yisrael's homework that he always does faithfully. We got to see that. And then we'll have some time for any comments or elaboration. So we're going to take our second break. It's now 10:48. Let's come back promptly at 11 so we can finish up our class, Moors. Islam. Islam family will be returning to class in 30 seconds. Islam, Islam, Islam. Always rising to praise Allah and giving honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, giving honor to today's class. We're gonna view this short video, YouTube video, and let me say that we do not own the rights to this video. We are showing it for educational purposes and also just to put this disclaimer up. And I want to read this disclaimer. Copyright law recognizes that not all uses of copyrighted works infringe on the rights of the copyright owner. Section 107 of the Copyright Act states, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 106 and 106A, the fair use of a copyrighted work, including such use by reproduction in copies or phono records, or by any other means specified by that section for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. Fair uses of work do not require permission. And once again, I just want to say, we're going to view this YouTube video, and we don't own the copyrights to it, but we are using it for educational purposes. And more, as we're viewing this video, let's think about all of the demonstrations that we have heard and read on today's class, dealing with the importance of our nationality. One second more.
We are a nation within a nation in this country searching for a nationality. We are a nation within a nation in this country searching for a nationality. And once we find our nationality and serve that nationality, we'll do for ourselves what needs to be done. All ethnic groups in this country understand they got a nationality, because you answer to such stupid words like Negro and color and black. You have no nationality. Negro is not a nationality. Some lazy Portuguese or Spaniard took an adjective and made a noun out of it. Colored is not a nationality. Black tells you how you look, but it don't tell you who you are. Right. The name of a people must relate them instantaneously to land, history, and culture. And anytime you call a people by their right name, anytime you call a people, name a people, and fail to relate them back to land, history, and culture, you have called them out of their name. There's no black land or black Ola. There's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing wrong with it at all. Only it doesn't relate to a country. The name of every people in the world relate to country. And once you think instantaneously of land, you think of nationality. You belong to something big in the world. Now,
Islam Moors, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Islam. So just thinking about all of our, our title of today's class, why is nationality important? The objective to understand why the application of nationality is the key to our salvation in this new era of time. Also, just reflecting on our vocabulary words, land, history, culture, and the grand definitions that we gave for all of those, the resources that we read from our prophet, our divine constitution of Moorish America, Act 6, the 2 chapters from our Holy Quran, chapter 69, Egypt, the capital empire, dominion of Africa, and also chapter 70, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. And also that grand chapter from our Harbinger's book, Message to the People, chapter 3 on Moorish nationalism, and culminating it with one of our great Moorish scholars, Dr. John Henry Clark, in his later years, plumbing that line and telling that truth, telling us we answer to such silly words like Negro, black, and colored, so just, our question on the floor is, what does nationality mean to you? And our young brother Yisrael did demonstrate some homework. And before I open up the floor to the general and then to the panel, I'm gonna show our brother's homework. And his homework, young children can draw a picture of Moorish Americans living peacefully together. Let me grab that. Islam, brother Israel. What do we have here, Mo?
This is my picture of
Moorish Americans working together.
Moorish American working together.
Say,
Yes,
okay. Say, hey. Say, okay. Say nationality
Nationality.
is all about knowing self,
Know itself.
knowing who the creator is. Come on, honey. He laughing in the background. Okay, no, he happy as always. Knowing, okay, say nationality is knowing who the creator is. Knowing that you are made in the image of Allah. Come on, say it. Nationality is knowing who your ancestors. Come on. Say, come on. Okay, say nationality is knowing who your ancestors are. Say nationality is. Come on, honey. I
love
can't
that,
get no
Mo.
words out of them.
I love that, Mo. I love it. Beautiful picture, Mo. Beautiful picture. This is the same picture, but got that big smile above it, huh?
Oh yes.
Grand measure, Mo. Gratitude for your homework, Mo. Always on point.
Yep.
Always on point.
Yep.
Gratitude. All right, so Mo, is the the question on the floor: what does nationality mean to you? And I'm gonna call on our counsel general first. You there, General?
Yes, Islam, Islamism, without the schism. Well, it's real simple for me. I've learned how to make things simple because, as a result of practicing being who I am, I learned that, Moorish American, my nationality is everything. Is everything. And it's so many as a result of birthright. It's part of my birthright. Because all nations are identified by nationality. And it's tied to my great history. What my forefathers were, without a doubt, a contradiction. So there are many, many contributions to humanity that my ancestors contribute, and even started. You know, that means a lot to a child. It gives him a sense of being, or well-being in the world. It clears up the false information that all he was a slave. It clears up the picture that he just didn't drop off the back of a truck. It clears up all the derogatory names and descriptions and abuse and the atrocities that has been bestowed on our people as a whole. Because when you look at our people from the Moorish perspective, that history can't even be, it's so vast, it can't even be described in a few words. It's you know, it cannot even be described in its totality in a few words or a sentence or a paragraph or etc. Because it's world history. It has everything to do with world history. If you go all the way back, and I know if, some of our brothers and sisters have posted even the original China man, the man that from China was Asiatic. If you look at him, you will see how the lighter ones came about and how the lighter tones and things, how they came about, how the mixing of the race formed these people who would they show up front as being Chinese and all any other races in the other parts of the planet Earth too. You know, so it tells me that that I play a major part in the planet Earth or in the universe as a whole. I don't want to just limit it to society. I want to tie it into the universe. I want to tie it into the whole planet Earth. It's so vast, like I said. Now, and something else I want to add to the reading. It says, further in view of the Moorish leaders, more prophetic statements concerning the future of so-called Black people in this country, Prophet Noble Drew Ali may have expected his adepts to take the initiative in acquiring, maintaining, and making available to the descendants of Africa the knowledge and ability to meet all, not some, all constitutional requirements by supplying the necessary knowledge and insight that most of so-called Black America often lacks. The things necessary to be prosperous, listen, the things that it takes to be prosperous, productive, and industrious like other American citizens. This is what the intentions of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali had for his adepts, or his purpose of making adepts, was for this sole purpose, not just to design to open up a religious organization. No, we were to be American citizens. That includes North, South, Central, and the adjoining islands, and even in all the other parts of the world. Because when you are a law-abiding citizen, you will obey the Constitution over in Europe. You will obey the Constitution over there in Japan. You will obey the Constitution anywhere on the planet Earth. Because why? This is what our forefathers, ancient forefathers and mother put their trust in. They put their trust in constitutional principles because the constitutional principles were tied to universal principles. Because every human being on the planet Earth was endowed by unalienable rights that are constitutionally connected. So it's all about us cultivating our minds, getting back to that state in which our ancient forefathers were. It ain't nothing old in the sense of like being in the sense of oldness, the way we look at it from a finite point of view. Old means ancient, being original. Because like you said, everything that you have right now has been altered, has been watered down, has been diverted in a whole nother direction for the sake of greed, control, and etc. So once we practice accepting ourselves, because see, the world, the universe, life rewards you always. I'll say it like this: our rewards in life always match our service. You only get back what you put in. So if you're a person that's always in want, you might want to look at it because you might be proclaiming the wrong things. If you're a person who may be always in search of love, you might be connected to the wrong things. So, you know, there's much wisdom to be learned. And there's so many advantages when it comes to knowing the truth about your divine creed and your nationality. And it's an honor to be a proud Moorish American. It's okay to have race pride. And I'm not neglecting or I'm not downing anybody else that belongs to the human family when I proclaim mine. I don't want nobody to get the wrong picture that I'm trying to exalt myself over somebody else because I say I'm Moorish American. I'm a proud Moorish American, and it feels great to know that I'm Moorish American and to be and live the life accordingly as a Moorish American. Because I remember living the ways of a Negro, Black, and colored man. I've been rescued, I've been saved from myself. Being a Moorish national, I mean, it's the best thing that ever had happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. Is it the most what they say about truth is the most common thing? Oh no. But we have a responsibility as being a conscious Moorish American to teach and spread the love to our people and help in teaching them how to be themselves. But we don't want you to get it twisted. We don't want you to think that we're trying to teach you or impose a religion on you. We're trying to connect you back to the lineage of your ancient forefathers and mothers, because their spirit are here with us. And the universal principles will react to us when we are in our right state of mind. So I want to say gratitude. Thank you for this beautiful class, Sheik. Thank you for everyone who participated in this class, you know, because the universe knows your intentions. And as a result of you applying yourself, all is well. Gratitude. Islam.
Islam, and gratitude for that grand, beautiful message, General. Always plumbing that line. And honors to you and love you, Mo. We got Brother Yisrael's hand up.
Say Islam.
Islam.
Say, what is a fast?
What is a faith?
Islam. That Islam, Brother Yisrael. Our fez is the national headdress for Moorish Americans. You know, it is symbolic of our freedom, 360 degrees of freedom on our head. It's that shining light. It's that halo, you know, that the Moorish American wears that is supposed to say that we are conscious, you know, spiritual, loving human beings. You know, so if anybody else wants to add to that, Question for the Mo Man. He asked, what is the feds?
It's also in the shape of a womb, like the womb of your mother, the womb from the womb from which all of us come, through a womb. We can also check that out by looking at our navel. Our navel connects us to an umbilical cord. So the tassel is symbolic to an umbilical cord, and it's connected to that centerpiece in your feds, which is number one. Which is connected to the womb, which is the oval shape of the feds. And we should give birth to everything that, like the Sheikh just stated. When the Moors think, when we think and we in our proper state, we should give birth to life. We should give life. Life should be the birth of everything that we put our energy into. We should always speak life into things. We should, every time we speak to an individual, we should always lift their spirit. We should affect the ethers. We should vibrate in such a level where people can feel us wherever we are. You should be able to feel me from where I'm sitting right now through this computer to where you are. That's how much power we have. Because we're not the body nor the soul, we are spirit and the part of Allah. Islam?
Islam, gratitude, General. Brother Israel, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Islam. Grand measure. Moors, before we close out, I posted a song this week, and our people. The lyrics of this song is how our people have been thinking, how our children have been thinking and feeling for so many years. And nationality can take us away from these inferior thoughts. But the song comes from a group called the Spinners. It's an old song back in the early 70s called Ghetto Child. And see, one of the reasons we teach is to pull our people away from this kind of thought. This is a great song because the lyrics are speaking truth about how our people feel about themselves. And I don't own the rights to these lyrics. I want to do that so they don't shut us down. But anyway, it says, when I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me. The children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed. Just for being born, I was just a boy punished for a crime that was not mine. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. Oh, baby, life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. No one tried to understand. Papa did the best a man could do. A child's reality is paid for by his folks. Fancy fairy tales are born and sold by those who can well afford time to make believe. Childhood dreams can still come true. So I've been wondering, traveling all around. Guess it ain't my style to live in just one town. Still, I'll never know why a child is blamed, ridiculed, and shamed. We're all the same. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. The lyrics and listen to that song, Moors, today, Ghetto Child by the Spinners. See, because that's how our people have been feeling and reacting since 1865. And a prophet came to them and it was born to us in 1886 and started to do his mission, his work in 1913 to redeem us from feeling in these kind of ways. But when our people still classify themselves as Negro, Black, Colored, African American, all these names that delude to slavery, this is how our children are going to continue to feel in this man's society and government. They're going to feel like this song talks about the ghetto child. And when you hear these lyrics being sung and it says that, you know, he was just a boy, gotta find it. Just being born, I was just a boy punished for a crime that was not mine. See, if we don't redeem our people and let them know who they are and whom's they are, you know, our people, our children are gonna feel this same way, like they did something wrong, like it's something wrong with them. No, there's nothing wrong with our children. Our children are descendants of the greats, the ancient ones. You know, so just I want to say honors to all who participated, honors to you know, definitely our young brother Yisrael, because this mo is unfolding. I think Yisrael is 4 goddess.
Islam, he's 5. His
He's
birthday
5.
was November 2nd.
Okay, his birthday was November, so he's 5 now, and this mo
Yes.
is unfolding.
Yes, he is. Yes.
He is. He is. He's a beautiful young God, man.
Gratitude. Yes.
Islam.
Yes.
Islam, Mo. So honest to you, brother, for all the work that you do every Saturday and making this class, and honest to everybody else. General, any closing words before we close out?
Yes, I just want to just camel back all what you said, General. I'm just grateful for our little brother, man, our little God, man, for being consistent. It speaks a lot about his character and what he is unfolding into. Man, I am honored to have a upcoming leader like him, you know, because this is what we need. And you could tell that he enjoys being himself. He just laughs. I mean, he's tickled, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're supposed to do, be able to have fun and learning about who we are. You know, so it's worth all the energy and time that we come together to spend with our little brother, man. You know, we just gonna keep everybody else in our prayers, all those who we had with us, who may not be here with us. We're gonna keep them in prayers, you know, because they have the same potential. The thing is that there's when it comes to the parent, the prophet said the importance of not trust, the duty of a parent, you know, to support that child is very keen and important. So I want to thank his grandma, you know, for being there by his side, um, you know, assisting him and guiding him. That also speaks volumes about her character. So I say praise be to Allah and honor to our holy prophet, you know, and thank everybody here on the panel that assists in utilizing what Allah gave them to bring about this vibration, this example of what we're supposed to be about. Islam, gratitude.
Islam and gratitude, General, for those closing most important words. So we can go ahead and close out Goddess Nicole Williams El-Bey. If you're speaking, Goddess Nicole, you got your mic muted. Islam, a holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relations that bondeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all, and your love to each other. Islam, Moors, grand class, and we will see you next Saturday.
Islam, grand class, grand class.
Islam, peace and love.
Islam,
Peace and
peace and
love,
love.
Mo.
God,
Peace and
man.
love, goddess. Peace and
Okay.
love, Mo, man.
Oh man, that was wonderful homework assignment.
See
Grand
you next
measure
weekend.
today.
Okay,
See you
Mo, we
Saturday.
definitely will. We definitely will, Mo.
All right.
Okay.
Peace and love.
Grand class.
It was grand class, Mo.
Powerful little brother, powerful.
He
little
is,
brother,
he
man.
is.
Man, got me tearing up on the road
Hey,
over here,
hey.
boy.
Powerful.
That purity and that power. We love it. Mm.
Peace and love, Mo.
Peace and love, gratitude.
Islam.